Yeah.
Audible? I'm audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good morning, friends. Welcome to this concrete mixed design workshop. And today we'll be running through one particular problem, solving one M20 concrete. Uh, I had sent some PPTs to you for taking the printout. I hope all the participants have taken the printout because you will be requiring it to look into those printed sheets as and when I refer it to, because it will be there in the screen, but it will be easy if you look into that sheets also to get a ready reckoner. Today's concrete mixed design, actually, most of the time we say that engineers are reluctant to implement concrete mixed design at site. Way back, I started my career in 1984, might be with a private builder, and there, let's say 124 concrete, way back in 1984. I passed out from engineering college and then came to a site again that 124 concrete was being implemented at the site. Actually, there was no reference of any concrete mixed design in those days. Actually, 1986, when I joined Gujarat National Buildings Construction Corporation, and we were involved in first expressway between Ahmedabad and Baroda. We had around 56 sites, and it was monitored by World Bank engineers actually. And when they visited site, all the sites should have the basic equipments for testing concrete at site, right from compressor testing machine to sieves to weighing scales to all small equipments, which I'll be showing to you what is required actually. And they wanted us to implement the concrete mixed design on day-to-day basis actually, which being myself very young and wanted to implement all these things, but there was nobody to guide me actually. See, basically, what we do in the bigger sites also, what we have done is that, yes, concrete mixed design needs to be done. So what we do, collect some samples, might be in the beginning, ABC sample is collected, give it to an engineering college, and then the engineering colleges, they go through that particular material, they'll design a concrete, might be M25, 30, 35, 40, in those M40 was being used for our bridge work actually. And then they'll give a mixed proportion to us, which we'll very duly, we will keep it in a file it and keep it very, whenever anybody asks us mixed design is there, yes, definitely we'll show it, pull out the file and then show it to them. And as the work starts, the contractor will be bringing some XYZ material, and we try to match these materials with the mixed design were done by the engineering college, and it is not match. And then we find a lot of difficulty in doing the or executing these mixed designs at site actually. So might be those days it was very difficult. There was nobody in the might be seniors. They will only tell that, okay, you do the sieve analysis, you do the absorption test and all that site, and then keep the records ready actually. Otherwise, other than that, they don't know how to implement it right. They also didn't know how to implement it right, or we were also not getting any proper guidance actually. So it went on like that. Might be around 10 to 12 years later when I joined Gujarat Ambuja Cements, where we actually went into this mixed designs. How can we implement it at site actually? And then we developed this particular design where we can implement it even for a smaller individual house building actually. Suppose if you are constructing your own house and you wanted to say that, okay, M25 I wanted to implement for my roof slab with the type of materials which is available, you can implement this particular mixed design at site. In the same way, after that has been developed, we had implemented in Kerala around 25 to 30 houses, and we had successfully implemented for the small houses. Not for big projects, we have all the equipments, all the facilities, all the resources to implement. But what about the smaller sites actually, which uh, so that is the basic for this particular mixed design. So let me come to the actual presentation. So this, I'll just give a brief introduction. Concrete, as you all know, this was introduced to us by the Britishers actually. And when they introduced concrete to us, they were using these type of boxes for batching the aggregates, fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. They knew what type of quality of cement was being used for their construction work. Sand, they used to use medium sand, and aggregates, coarse aggregate would be well graded aggregates. Then this 124 was working exactly actually. If the materials were having deviation, they should reject the material. They used to make it, they used to take the material which is suitable for doing the 1-4 concrete. So that's why some of times we feel that whatever structures which was built prior to independence are still standing intact without any issue, whereas we had implemented certain concrete after this independence using the 1-4 same 1-4 concrete, and we can see collapses, building collapses actually. Even yesterday we can see it in Mumbai during the monsoon. It is a very difficult time for the civil engineers. You can see one or the two structures collapsing actually. Now let us see what is happening in our mixed design actually. Even in spite of might be in 1984, I started my career, 1-4 was there actually, and then to even today, most of the places this 1-4 unscientifically used 1-4 is still continuing with the concrete in the concreting sites actually. Now, our politicians talk great about equality, socialism, and all sorts of things to our public actually. But I am telling that real socialism we are achieving in concrete making. Why? Because if you go to Mumbai, 1-4 is there. If you go to Jammu, 1-4 is there. If you go to East, 1-4, or South, we have this 1-4. So 1-4 is being uniformly used everywhere in India. So real socialism we are achieving in concrete making. In spite, we have different types of aggregates, like fine aggregate in Kerala, even it is naturally available material. If you see the sand from the river, it is having sharp edges actually. Whereas the same sand, when it is going to Mumbai, the color changes to black, and the shape of the aggregates is rounded in nature actually. And you know, rounded will require less cement or less water content actually. But still, we use 2 parts of fine aggregate. You have different types of aggregates available in the country. Like we have in granite in the southern, whereas we have dolomite in the west, where different types of aggregates available in different parts of the country. But still, we take it as 4 parts of post segregate actually. So there is no, that's what the uniformity 1-4 somebody has designed. And what I always say is that engineers like to have these numbers in place. They are very comfortable with numbers. That's why, that is one of the reasons why 1-4 has been easily adopted at site actually, without looking at the type of materials what we are using. Cement, different types of cements are available in the market. We have OPC cements with the 33, 43, 53 grades cements. Now 33 is of course not there, 43 grade cement is there, 53 is there. We have PPC cement, fly ash based cement, we have slag based cement available in the market, whose strength varies from might be 35 Newton per mm to 65 Newton per square actually. So different strengths are available, but still we take 1 part of cement actually. Now let us see what is going wrong with our 1-4 concrete. Now we can see here the contractor, the cement bagging has improved actually. The quality of bag has improved. You get 50 kg bag at site, unlike previously when they were packing in gunny bags. By the time it reaches the site, it will be around 40, 44, 45, 46 kgs or some kgs. Some cement used to get lost actually in the transit. But today we have 50 kgs available in the market, available at site actually. We'll get 50 kgs. But what the contractor has done, he has cut open that cement bags, put it on a plastic sheet. Entire cement bags has been cut open. And the weakest person of the lot, the weakest worker of the lot who cannot handle aggregates and all, he has put him to batch cement actually, the most costliest material and the most important material for concrete making. Now you can see this tin. This is somewhat straight. This is tilted actually, and this man is employed to take 1 tin of cement for every batch of concrete. Now, in the morning he is very efficient. He may take it, but as the time goes, maybe in the afternoon, he's tired, and then you cannot put one engineer to supervise whether he's taking 1 tin, or depending on his efficiency, he'll be the cement part will go up and down actually. Now we have rubber baskets available in the hardware store. The boxes have vanished. Now this is flexible rubber basket. The worker wants to, or the contractor wants to cheat you, you can trust more and still take it as 2 parts of fine aggregates. Or if the worker is feeling very tired, he'll feel loosely and still take it as 2 parts of fine aggregate actually. Now you can see here this how this human relationship also affects our 1-4 concrete. You can see this lady is not looking at him. So what he'll do, he'll put more in that in his motor pan and to make her life miserable. This lady is smiling at him, so he'll put less in that motor pan to make her life easy actually. So depending on the love-hate relationship, our 1-4 will go up and down actually. Now, on the day of the concrete, the engineers are mere, or engineers supervisors are mere spectators actually. Whatever materials, aggregates or fine aggregate, coarse aggregate goes into the drum, this man is the greatest mix designer on that particular day. What he'll do, he will put that much water to make it workable actually. The water cement ratio is gone for a toss. On a day, if you had gone to any concrete site on a day of concrete, you will find all these confusions actually, and he takes over because the person working on the top, that is the mason and the workers who is placing the concrete, are doing the hardest job actually. So if their life is not easy, and if we stick to our water cement ratio, and if we are not able to give workable concrete, they will abuse him left, right, and center. So what they do, conveniently add more water to the concrete and make it workable and send it up actually. So this is what actually happens. Whereas if the engineers are not done their homework properly. As I told you in the beginning, the engineers are very much happy with the numbers. That's why there is sort of reluctancy in implementing the concrete mixed designs at site actually. Why? Because mixed design, after all, it is an art actually. It is an art. So as civil engineers, we may have to become an artist to fine tune your mixes actually, to fine tune your mixes. So ultimately, this is an art. To a certain extent, we can bring it to numbers, but ultimately, the artist comes into picture actually. Now, all of a sudden, few of the members, ladies, must be surprised why these kitchen materials have come onto the screen in a concrete mixed design class actually. Now, I was working in Bangalore, and my wife was happily making a sambar, a very good sambar, because she knew the ingredients to be put into the sambar. The chilies were not that very hard, so we used to proportion it accordingly and make a beautiful sambar for me. Actually, I used to praise her, but suddenly one day I got transferred to Hyderabad actually. And in Hyderabad, you know, the chilies are very hard. She didn't know the proportion. She made the proportion. She put the same proportion actually as she was making in Bangalore. And next day I had to bear the brunt. So depending on the type of materials available, you have to, depending on the type of materials available locally, you have to make, you have to proportion it actually and make a good mixed design actually. So concrete can be compared, mixed design can be compared with sambar making actually. The only difference is that sambar, you can taste it and either praise or abuse your person who is making it. Whereas concrete, you cannot taste it actually. If you would have been able to taste concrete today, I think 90% of the concrete we have thrown out the window actually. Now let us, we are coming back to our, these are the steps which is involved for concrete making, like concrete specifications, material properties, durability requirements, workability, target mean strength, water to cement ratio, water content, cement content.
Excuse me, sir.
Hello?
Press that hide button, sir. In your presentation screen area.
Okay.
Thank you.
So aggregate proportion, proportions in aggregate proportions, mixed calculations, wave batching. So these are the 11 steps which we'll be going through and solving one particular problem. And by the end of the time, I feel you should be able to do this basic mixed design programs actually. So again, the definition of mixed design and mixed proportioning, everybody knows, it's a technique of choosing the most economical proportion of available material. That is, what is available in your local area. With that material, you have to choose the most proportion. You have to build a proportion actually. And if the mix which is designed has to satisfy only the three following requirement parameters, that is workability, strength, and durability. These are the three parameters it should satisfy actually. Basically, I always tell that workability is basically for workers. So without compromising on water cement ratio and durability factor, you should be able to give a workable concrete to workers so that they may not be having the tendency to add more water actually. Strength, of course, we engineers are very much interested in the strength actually. So we look into that strength doesn't go down, and durability is ultimately the people who is going to stay in that house is the concern with the durability actually. Now I'll just give a brief about this method of mixed design. IS 456 clause 9.2.1 very clearly states that as a guarantor of quality of concrete used in construction, the constructor shall carry out the mixed design and the mix so design, and it is very clearly given in the bracket, not the method of design. It is not the method, shall be approved by the employer within the limitations of parameters and other stipulation laid down by IS 456. That is, whatever, suppose as a contractor, I will design a mix and submit to you. It need not be as per the IS method or IS 10262 or anything. You have to just satisfy the workability, strength, and durability parameters. That is what it really means actually. So you can employ any method to reach. Even IS 10262 is a guidelines for forming the mixed design actually. See, it is varying. IS 10262 1982 had certain relevant informations, which was not there in IS 1 when it was revised in 2004. And then when it got revised in 2019, a lot of things got added back actually. Like in 1982, we had air content was taken as 2%. By 2004, it was not there actually. Then in 2019, it has been reintroduced as 1% for 20 mm aggregates actually. But when you're using maximum aggregate size like 20 mm, 1% air content has to be taken. So, but certain things which were there in 1982, which is not carried forward, like grades of cement, which was there in it has not come in 2004 and 2019 it has been reintroduced as 33, 43, and 53 actually. So these things, whichever is suitable for the mixed design, we have taken it actually and formed this mixed design. Now, the first step in concrete making, is that you have to give a good workability to the concrete mixed design, what you're doing actually. Workability is that when you're giving good workability to the concrete, there will be less of entrained air inside the concrete. You'll be easily able to place it, compact it, and finish it. It is just like sending your children to a good school and good college and teaching them good subjects, good manners. You are actually molding them to a good human being. Same thing, you should know how to mold a good concrete. By molding good concrete means you are giving a good workability to the concrete actually. You can see here it's a good workable concrete. It is high slump actually. You can see when you're giving good workability to the concrete, there will be less of entrapped air actually, and you will be easily able to place it and compact it and finish it. Workability and water cement ratio are two separate aspects actually. There is no connection between these two. Even with low water cement ratio, you can make a high workable concrete actually. Workability generally depends on the type of work. Suppose if you are doing a road work, you require less workable concrete. If you are doing a piling concrete, you require high workable concrete. Or if you are doing a slab, you require medium workability. So that is the first step in concrete making. You should learn to know how to make good workable concrete. Second is the concrete. Second property, what I say is it should be very cohesive actually. Now you can say this man is very good in his own work, in his own way, is excellent. But and his wife is also good in her own, as a housewife, she is very good. But if they don't match together in real life, what we call in human terms is called separation. Whereas in concrete also there is a connection. You have good materials, even though you have very good materials available with you, but if you don't know how to proportion it and make a good cohesive concrete, we call it in concrete terms as segregation actually. So you can see here, well-designed concrete should be very, very cohesive. How you can understand when you take a slum? First is that the slum should be true slum. Second is you can see that entire surface is coated with cement paste. If it is coated with cement paste, it is an indication that the concrete is very cohesive. Or if you don't have slum cone at site, you can make a ball of concrete, throw it up 1 meter height, if it comes back as ball, then your concrete is very cohesive. First of all, you have to be able to make the ball, and then you have to throw it up. It should come back as ball. Then you can say the concrete is very cohesive actually. Now strength actually, now we can say strength, as engineers are very much interested. We are going in for higher and higher strength of concrete actually. Now even in India, we have reached a strength of M100 concrete. This is Petronas Tower, where the strength of concrete was M80, and where it was just not ordinary Portland cement which was used for achieving this M80 concrete. They had used fly ash and cement combination to achieve that strength actually. Nowadays you can see even the ladies are showing their strength in the WWF actually. So strength is another factor where which is engineers are more interested. And ultimately it is the durability which has given very much prominence in the IS 456 now, because the person who is going to stay inside the building, he is the person who suffers actually for the bad job which we have done. Like you can see, this man is already sitting in an umbrella inside the house and looking at the weather forecast, heavy rains. So it cannot keep secrets of bad work actually. The concrete cannot keep secrets of bad work. It will definitely leak out actually. So a few years, there will be some dampness. After some time, the entire concrete chunk comes down actually along with the fan. You can see there is no fan now. Everything has come down actually. So now I'll just discuss what is the role of structural engineers, concrete technologies, and site engineers. The structural engineers, the structural designer specifies the minimum concrete compressive strength, or you can say the based on durability aspect actually. So this is a very important thing actually, because some of the engineers, because the concrete IS 456 has revised it and says that M20 concrete is a minimum grade of concrete to be used for reinforced concrete. Doesn't mean that a person building a house near the coastal environment can use M20. It is for all over India actually. Suppose if you are making a building house in Bangalore, you can use M20. Whereas if you are making a house in Cochin near the coastal area, your medium strength of concrete should be M30 actually. So the structural designer should very carefully design the minimum strength of concrete. Concrete technologies based on the structural engineers input on concrete specification. The designs the concrete mixed with the knowledge of materials, type of structures, type of supervision to achieve the minimum strength. And site engineers, as I told you, on day-to-day basis, they have to make the whatever materials they have received at site. Accordingly, finer adjustments has to be done to implement the concrete mix design. I mean, most of the IHB segments all are rolled into one. You are a structural designer, you are a concrete technology, you are a site engineer, is rolled into one person, and you have to do all these things at site actually. Now let us see what is this characteristic compressive strength. Table 1, page 1. What is this definition of characteristic compressive strength? FCK we call. That characteristic compressive strength is defined in IS 2000 clause 6.1.1. The characteristic strength is defined as the strength of materials which not more than 5% results are expected to fail actually. So if you are saying that you are designing M20 concrete, and if you have taken 100 cube molds, 100 cubes if you have taken, in that 5 cubes can fail actually. Even it may not reach even M20 concrete. Then also your concrete is okay. So 5% failure is we are acceptable level actually we are designing it. So that is FCK. Now you can see it's characteristic compressive strength. Now IS has divided it into now 3 parts. We have this ordinary concrete M10, M15, M20. M20 means so we are receiving 20 Newton per mm square at the end of 28 days. Standard concrete is M25 to M55 is standard concrete, and then we have M60 to M80 standard concrete. Now, the latest revision in IS 10262, that is 2019, they had dealt M65 and higher strength concrete. They had designed it actually an example. They had also dealt in detail the self-compacting concrete very much in the IS 10262 2019 actually. And another thing which they had introduced is that for the pump concrete, they, the variation in the aggregates, we can reduce the force aggregate by 10%. So all these things has been introduced in the IS 2019. Now let us see the materials. Materials analysis is very important. I always consider this materials of concrete materials as a family of materials. So a joint family, you can say. Earlier we used to have the joint family where the head of the family is considered as the cement, the most important material and the most important person in the family, as the grandfather. Then water is or the father or the son, we can say, is the water, because if he is very obedient, you can go in for a good concrete. If he is disobedient, then you will be struggling to make a good concrete actually. Then we have these fine aggregates. Then we have these coarse aggregates in place. Since the daughter is coming from another family, so that is compared with the chemical admixtures, it has to match well with the gel well with the family. You have to know the properties of chemical admixture before adding into the concrete. So if it gels well, it is good for the family as well as for the concrete. And fly ash, of course, sometimes people don't like it actually, but if the mother-in-law gels well or fly with the family, you get a durable family actually. So durability purpose, fly ash is good for concrete. And we have these ultra fines now coming into picture. We have fibers, the second son. So flexion and consistency is the key for mixed design actually. Now, before we enter into the mixed design aspect, actually, the aggregates, analysis of aggregates, we have to, for lab conditions, that is when we are doing trials in lab condition, you have all your aggregates in saturated surface state conditions. Because why? Because that is the most closest to the field conditions. The SST conditions is most closest to the field condition, because in field, your aggregates will be mostly in saturated surface condition, or you may have excess water in that one, which you have to reduce it from the total water we have to add it actually. So this is the condition which is showing as oven dry. This is the condition which is air dry, and this is the condition which is saturated surface dry. Saturated surface dry is the aggregates are, there is no moisture present on the your aggregates are completely absorb the water, but there is no water present on the surface of the aggregates. So that whenever your water is added for a trial purpose, the entire water is available for workability and hydration purpose. Now this is greater than absorption. There is excess water is available on the top of the aggregates, which will contribute the water towards the water which we are adding for the concrete mixed design, and will not give the right results actually. Or for even for bulk specific gravity is more accurately determined by displacement method in SST conditions actually. Now, how to take proper sample actually? Now, if you see when a truck gets unloaded at site actually, when a truck gets unloaded at site, and the coarser parts have a tendency to flow towards the bottom, the finer particles are remaining on the top actually. So what we can do is that we can remove the top portion of the material can be removed. And with this, we can see this particular person is taking the sample from the bottom, from the middle, from the top. So this is the way we have to take it so that you get the right property of material actually. Now you can take that, suppose if you take 2 kgs required for 20 mm aggregates, you can take 4 kgs by the help of quartering actually. The opposite quarters are rejected, the other is mixed again till it is achieved, till we get 1 kg sample actually, or 2 kg sample. For a fine aggregates, we take 1 kg sample. For 10 mm aggregates, we take 1 kg sample. For 20 mm, we take 2 kgs for doing the sieve analysis. For sieve analysis, fine aggregates, these following sieves are used: 4.75, 2.36, 1.18, 600 micron, 300, 150, and pan actually. Now, these are the 3 most important sieves which is required in for our mixed design. We have to understand that is 20 mm, 10 mm sieve, 4.75, and 600 micron sieve actually. Now, what is the importance actually? 20 mm, when we do the sieve analysis, we find out the maximum size of the aggregate. We will determine what is the maximum size of the aggregate. 4.75 is the most important sieve, which will tell you how much the sand the sand may contain some coarse aggregate and some fine aggregate. All the material which is passing 4.75 will act as fine aggregate in your concrete, whereas the material which is retained at 4.7 will act as coarse aggregate. Now 10 mm aggregate is basically to understand, we always ask the supplier to give a well-graded aggregates. But most of the time at sites, we find that it is not well-graded, single size aggregate actually. This one, when we sieve through this 10 mm sieve, if the percentage passing is between 25 to 55, suppose we have got a 20 mm aggregates at site, you take 1 kg and do the sieve analysis. And if 25 to 58% is passing 10 mm sieve, then it is called a well-graded aggregates. Most of the time you will not find that one. So you have to order for 10 mm aggregates separately to make the aggregates. Otherwise, after 20 mm, you have only the sand in place actually. So there will be a lot of gap in our mix design. So we have to have this 10 mm aggregates in place actually. So we'll see the material properties. We have taken sieve analysis, CA1. CA1 is 10 mm aggregates. CA2 is 20 mm aggregates. FA is called fine aggregates actually. So we'll find out sieve analysis for CA2, CA1 and sand. Then specific gravity, dry loose bulk density, that is called DLBD, dry loose bulk density, then we'll bulk gauge. Now you have this sieve analysis for fine aggregates. You can take the fine aggregate sieve analysis report, page 2, table 2 actually. Now you can see here, this is table 1, page 1. Actually, you can see here 4.75. You can see the sieve analysis, and you got the passing through percentage. We got it. Now you can write here 4.75 passing is 99.3, and 600 micron passing for 37.4 actually. So for when you are sieving the sand, you found that 99.3% is passing 4.7. So the 99.3% is only acting as fine aggregate, whereas 0.7% is going to act like coarse aggregate in your mixed design actually. Same thing, you can go through the sieve analysis. 1 minute, I'll just first find out. Now, as per the sieve analysis report for fine aggregate, type we got natural and crushed actually. We had used that one. Percentage passing 4.75, we got 99.3 from the sieve analysis report. And percentage passing 600, we got for 37.3 as per the sieve analysis, 37.4 as per the sieve analysis report actually. So what we have to do is the percentage passing 600 micron in pure fine aggregate we have to find. That is, if 100% is passing 4.75, what will be the 600 micron passing? That is, for 99.3 percentage passing 4.75 Z, you get 37.4 percentage passing 600 micron. That is, for 1%, you get 37 divided by 99.3, 600 micron. That is, for 100% passing 4.75, you get 37.4 divided by 99.3 into 100. So it comes to around 37.7. So you can write down 37.7 passing 600 micron. You can write 37.7 as 600 micron passing actually. Now you can see, you can refer table 5, page 5, zones of fine aggregate. Table 5, page 5. We can see the graph here is as per IS 383. We have the sieve size given 10 mm, 4.75, 2.36, 1.18, 600, 300, 150. Now percentage passing zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. Our 37.7 is lying between 35 to 59. So we consider this as zone 2. Now if we see, to get the zone of fine aggregate, we have to refer only the 600 micron passing, because you can see here 15 to 35 is zone 1. Zone 2 starts from 35 to 59. So there is a clear boundary marcation is there. Or zone 3 will start from 60 to 79. Or zone 4 from 80 to 100. If you see any other sieve like 1.18, 30 to 70, and zone 2 starts from 55 to 90. So there is an overlap. So you will not be able to specifically clearly demarcate which zone your fine aggregate. So 600 micron passing, as I told you earlier, is very important to understand your zone of fine aggregate. And for nowadays, we don't get natural sand, we get M sand, manufactured sand actually. So once you get this zone, then you can, what you can say, you can just go through these ranges, that is 4.75, 90 to 100, 2.3, 75 to 100, 55 to 90, whether all these things is coming in between these things. Then you can say your aggregate M sand is well graded. Whereas in natural sand, it is naturally graded actually. So you will be automatically getting all this within this range actually. So we can get from the zone 2 as our zone of fine aggregate. Now we come back to the next, this one. Now we can say, you can take the CV analysis report of CA1. Now you can see here for CA1, CV analysis, you have taken 1 kg sample, you have saved it, you got the passing through, and you can see here passing 4.75. You please note down 4.75, it is 26%. You can note down in the worksheet as 26, you can just tick it wherever 26%, because this 26% is now passing 4.6, which is going to act like fine aggregate in your concrete actually. Now take the CV analysis report, CV analysis of table 3, page 4, table 4. Sorry, table 3, page 3. Now you can see here 20 mm aggregate. We have taken 2 kg sample, then we had sieved it, and here you can note down what is the percentage passing 20 mm sieve. It is 64.8. Please note down that one. Percentage passing 20 mm sieve is 64.8. Now we can see here coarse aggregate CA1 and CA2, it is crushed actually. Percentage passing 20 mm sieve from the table, from the CV we got 64.8. 4.75 for CA1 we got 26%. Now we have to fix the maximum aggregate size for our concrete actually. Now you can refer table 6, page 10. You can refer table 6, page 10. Now you can see here maximum aggregate size actually percentage of aggregate passing 20 mm sieve. If it is 0 to 25, the maximum aggregate size is 40 mm. Now in IS it is to 40 mm and only 20 mm is given, whereas why we are taking 30 mm actually? You can say it is 64.8. It comes between 25 to 75. Our maximum aggregate size is 30 mm. Actually. Most of the sites actually we order for 20 mm aggregates, and if the percentage passing 20 mm is not between 75 to 100, your aggregate size is 30 mm. Actually. Most of the as per the experience I'm telling, I've worked in so many sites, I could see that very rarely we get 20 mm, and we take that as 20 mm. Whatever is the supplier has supplied at site, we take it as 20 mm. We take that as 20 mm and then go in for mixed design, and we end up with lot of miserably actually. So basically, what is happening at the aggregate crushers? They start with the net for 20 mm, but slowly it gets wear and tear happens actually, and you get after a few years, might be some time after the aggregate fellow, if they are not careful, they supply you with 30 mm aggregates, and most of the sites we get at 30 mm. So here, that's why we had introduced this 30 mm also in our mixed design, because most of the places we get this 30 mm. So 25 to 75, if your 20 mm is passing, then it is 30 mm. So you can write down here, hence the maximum aggregate size in this case is 30 mm. Now we have to find the specific gravity, dry loose bulk density, bulkage of all these things. We can refer to the pages 6, 7, 8 to find out all these things. I will see. Now here for specific gravity, you can use this pyknometer to get the specific gravities of the material. You have this, take the empty weight of the beaker, W1, fill 1/3 of this material, 1/3 of the beaker with the material, and put the W2, fill it up to the top, water up to the brim actually, take the weight as W3, and remove all the contents and fill the beaker up to the top actually, and take it as W4. Put it in the formula, you get the specific gravity. Same thing for tri-loose bulk density, you can use the cube molds at site actually. What is the cube molds available? You take the empty weight of the cube mold, fill the materials loosely. Don't compact it actually. Fill it loosely, as this is basically to convert from weight to volumetric when we are doing it volumetric basis at our site actually. So fill it loosely up to the top and then take the weight as W2. So W2 minus W1, you get mass of the material filled in the cube, and then volume we of course know 150 centimeter by 150 mm by 150 mm by 150 mm. You got the cube size. You can take it in unit with kg per liter actually. Now you can say that specific gravity for fine aggregate we got 2.62 and dry loose bulk density as 1.43 kg per liter. We got it. CA1 and CA2 we got a specific gravity as 2.7. Dry loose bulk densities for CA1 is 1.44 kg per liter and DLBD for CA2 is 1.43 kg per liter. So bulkage, very simple this one. We have this measuring cylinder at site. Suppose if we have a measuring cylinder, might be it is 100 mm. You fill the sand. That is, this particular bulkage has to be done on the day of concreting actually, not before that one. Because on the day of concreting, you take the sample of sand and then put up to 100 mm in the measuring cylinder and fill it with water and shake it actually. Keep it for some time. And what you find is that sand gets settled down actually. Might have settled to 80 mm. So 100 minus 80 divided by 100, divided by 80 into 100, you get the bulkage of sand. It might be 20%. So this is a very simple thing which can be done at site actually on the day of concrete. All this has to be filled in your worksheet. It is already there, given to you. Now we come to the analysis of the most important material, cement actually. So you have to be a little carefully listening to what I am telling actually here. Like there are various cements available in the market, like ordinary Portland cement. 33 is not there now. For now, it starts with 43 grade. Ordinary Portland cement, we have grade 53. 53 means all the 28 days strength, we will be getting 53 Newton per square at the end of 28 days. All the strength will be above 53 actually. And 43 means all the strength will be above 43 Newton per square. Then we have this cements now available, Portland Musclona cement. It is fly ash based as per IS 1489. Then we have Portland slag cement as per IS 455. So most of the time for promoting greener concrete, actually now all the cement companies are giving you PPC cement or PSC cement in the market actually. And only for project sites or ready-mix operators, they are supplying this OPC 53 or 43 grade cement actually. So you don't get in a retail dealer segment this OPC cement actually. So for most of the time they are promoting this PPC cement and PSC cement. So what is the issue with this PPC cement and PSC cement is actually we have the strength varying from 40 Newton per square to 65 Newton per square. Higher strengths are also available in PPC. Whereas the code says it is only 33 Newton. All the strength should be above 33 Newton per square. They are not specifying like in OPC 43 or 53. It is not there. It is the strength should be above 33 Newton per square. So the cement companies has got the options that they are okay because if their strength goes above 33, their cement is okay as per their code actually. So as a customer, we should know which cement we are taking actually and what is the strength of that particular cement actually. Whereas now OPC, when it is available for if it is 33 or 40, 53 grade, the strength is going above 65 to 70 Newton per square, and some of the cement which is low strength goes from 43 to 48 Newton to for 43 grade cement actually. Now this basically for cement concrete mix design, we must know the strength of this cement from and variation from time to time actually. Now we can say the mix design without knowing the correct grade. This will lead to either unsafe or oversafe mix designs actually. Now IS 10262 1982, it is very clearly they are given figure 2, which shows a relation between the free water cement ratio and concrete strength and or grade classified in 6 types, A to F actually. It was very clearly mentioned. So all the cement, whether you are using OPC cement, PPC cement, PSC cement, we have to put it in these grades, A to F. Okay, how to come to A to F, I will be explaining to you how to put that cement in A to F. I'll just show you that graph actually. Now you can see here, this is the graph actually, figure 1, grade of cement. We can see 28-day strength, which shows A grade means 325 to 375. B is 375 to 425. C is 425 to 475. So any strength lying between this, it comes under C grade. F is 575 to 625, that is kg per centimeter square. So if the strength lies between these two, then it is an F grade cement. Suppose you can say that if your water cement ratio is 0.5, your water cement ratio is 0.5. You can see in the x-axis, it is the water cement ratio. In the y-axis, the concrete strength is mentioned. 28-day concrete strength is mentioned into Newton per square. And we have this grade of cement, A grade, B grade, C grade, D grade, E grade, and F grade actually. And if you say for 0.5 water cement ratio, if you are using an A grade cement, your strength of concrete at the end of 28 days is only 20 Newton per square. For the same water cement ratio, if you are using a F grade cement, your concrete strength is going up to 35 Newton per square. So that is the difference when you are using the grade of cement. If you are using a for same water cement, if you are using a C grade cement, the strength of concrete can go up to 28 Newton per square actually. So it varies from 20 to 35 actually, depending on the grade of cement actually. So that's why it is very important to refer to this particular graph to put the grade in place actually. Now what happened is 1982, this graph was there. When the subsequent revision took place in 2004, this graph was not there. Only a single line was mentioning the strength of cement. The graph was absent actually. Then now in 2019, we can say that again this graph has been introduced with the 3 lines only 3 lines showing 33 grade, 43 grade, and 53 grade. That's all. So, but I prefer to go with this particular graph because it is very in detail. We can analyze the cement actually. Now you can see here, what we require is, actually 30 results required for arriving at a standard deviation. One single day test report. You can ask the cement company. Suppose if you are using a regular one particular brand of cement, you can ask the manufacturer to provide them with a 30-day results actually, because every cement company, before the cement is dispatched, every day the tests are being conducted in the laboratory, and the strength varies for the entire 30 days actually. So what is the standard deviation we have to find out. Either they can support, or you can, when you are using the same cement for a period of time, you can also develop a standard deviation. Now this is what we can see here, the standard deviation which we got from a cement company. Now day 1 October, they are 1st October to 31st October, they are tested the cement. They got the 3-day strength, 7-day strength, 28-day strength. You are getting the 28-day strength. Now we can say the minimum what is the strength, the maximum what is the strength, the average strength, how much it is actually. Now with these things, we can find a standard deviation for particular cement, that is 11.28. You can get it. And you put it in the formula, you get the FCK for cement actually. FC for cement actually. So with that, we can find out which grade your cement is lying actually. Now, a single day test certificate from cement company is not enough actually. You have to have the at least 30 days, 30 results to form a standard deviation and to get the correct FCK for cement actually. It is not practical to find the cement property side as it needs a full-fledged level. Stick to one particular brand. When we implemented the concrete mixed design set site, we stuck to only one particular brand of cement actually. One particular brand of cement for the entire period actually. For 32, 33 houses, we stuck to the same cement actually. So we knew the property of cement, how it is behaving actually. We had the standard deviation for that particular cement company. We ourselves formed a standard deviation by getting the 30 results for that particular brand. And then we could successfully use that particular thing. So cement companies should provide details for 20, or you can ask the cement companies, or if might be your college can form a standard deviation for a particular brand of cement testing or a period of time actually. And that can be used at site. Now you can just an example I am telling you. Suppose we have 3 brands of cement, that is brand A, brand B, and brand C, and which is giving an average strength at 580 kg per centimeter square for all the 3 brands at 580 kg per centimeter square. Okay, standard deviation for the month for brand A is 10, for brand B is 20, and brand C is 30 actually. Now you put it in the formula, characteristic compressive strength of cement. You put in the, that is mean strength, average strength minus 1.65 into S. You get for brand A, it's 563. You put in the cement grade, it comes under F grade. For brand B, because of the standard deviation is 20, you get a characteristic compressive strength of cement as 547. It comes under E grade. And for a brand C, it is 580. Because of the standard deviation, it comes to 522. Now it comes under D grade cement. Now, I'm not telling D is bad cement and F is a very good cement. Use only F cement. It's not like that. Whatever grade of cement grade you are getting, use that grade to fix the water cement ratio actually. If D will have might be the water cement ratio at 0.48, F will work at 0.55 for M20 concrete. So that's the difference actually. So finding the grade of cement is very important for our concrete mix design. Now you can see here in the example what we got average strength as for table 10, we can see 674 kg per centimeter square. Standard deviation S, we got it as 11.4 kg per centimeter square. Then the characteristic strength of cement, that is FC FM minus 1.65 US. It is not for concrete, it is for cement actually. It comes to 655.19 kg per centimeter square. So now, if it is 655, if you go to that graph, 655 is coming between F, which is higher grades are now available. This has to be revised actually. Now it comes to 675 to 625. So we can grade of cement as F grade actually. We can put the grade of cement as F. So grade of cement is fixed as F actually, because it is coming within 625 to 675. The click here on the worksheet you can put. You can refer the worksheet. Now water, the best water to be used is the potable water. So sometimes if at site when we are working, water will come, sir, which water to use? Somebody will come and ask you which water to use for tomorrow's concrete work. You can very well tell that you drink that water. If you are able to report to duty tomorrow, we can do the concrete work actually. So potable water only can be used. pH should not be less than 6. The best strength, actually the best thing to check is that you take 3 cube molds, 3 cubes you can take, 6 cubes you can take, 3 with distilled water and 3 with the water which you are going to use for your concrete actually. And if the strength is less than 90% of the distilled water, you cannot use that water for concreting. Now, all your concrete has to be designed as per the durability requirement actually. So this is very important. You cannot go below the durability requirement because that is the most important factor now. So the first step is exposure condition. Now you can refer table 8, page 18. This is the exposure condition which we are designing, where the engineer should design what is the exposure condition. So today we are designing the concrete for mild conditions, the concrete surface protector against weather or aggressive conditions. Suppose if you are making a house near to Cochin, so it comes under severe condition actually. So you have to put it because it is near, or it comes under coastal and moderate condition. You can say that it is coastal environment. So it comes under moderate. So you have to put it as moderate condition. Or if you are very near to the sea, it comes under severe. Or it is submerged inside the sea water, it comes under very severe and extreme. So depending on that where your structure is coming, you have to first categorize the exposure condition actually. Now once that exposure condition you have put it as mild, then we come to the water cement ratio and all this. This is another important table which we are using it. This is minimum cement content and maximum water cement ratio for different exposure with normal weight aggregates of 20 mm normal size aggregate. This table is designed for maximum aggregate size of 20 mm actually. So we say that different exposure conditions, mild, moderate, severe, very severe, extreme is given. And RCC, that is RCC you can see here, or minimum grade of concrete, we can put RCC and PCC is there, PCC and RCC is there. For RCC, it starts with M20. For moderate, it is M25. For severe, it is M30. So as per the exposure, if your structure is coming in severe, your concrete strength should start with M30 concrete. If it is very severe, the concrete strength should start with M35. Or if it is very extreme exposure, you start with M40. You cannot, in an extreme condition, you cannot design a M30 concrete or M25 concrete. For an RCC, it is not possible. And same thing, the maximum free water cement ratio is fixed here. For M20 here, it is 0.55. What is this maximum free water cement? What is this free? This is actually, as I told you earlier, or in for lab conditions when we are doing the trials, all your aggregates are in saturated surface day conditions. All the water which you are going to add in your concrete should be available for workability and hydration purpose. So that is the free water. That is the free water which is available actually. So none of the water gets absorbed in the aggregates. So entire 0.55 water should be available. And minimum cement, it should not go below that one. It is 300 kg per cubic meter. This is for maximum nominal 20 mm maximum aggregate size actually. So you can note down here, M20 concrete, we are going to do maximum free water cement ratio will be 0.55, and for 20 mm it is 300 kg per cubic meter. Now here one more correction, because maximum aggregate size in our case is 30 mm. Minimum cement content as per the table for 20 mm maximum aggregate size, it is 300 kg per cubic meter. For MAS, for maximum aggregate 30 mm, what should be done? Now you can see here, this is minimum cement content for aggregates other than 20 mm maximum aggregate size. This is, the table is given here. Here after 20 it is 40. We had included 30 actually, interpolating it. So you can say, what happened when the aggregate size increases? The surface area reduces actually. The surface area will require less cement to coat it actually. So you can reduce the cement content by 15 kgs in this case. So for your minimum cement content will, for maximum aggregate size 30 mm will be 300 minus 15 kg per cubic meter. It comes to 285. So you can kindly note down, for durability requirement, this is the minimum content. The cement content cannot go below 285. Maximum water cement ratio cannot go above 0.55. And we are designing for mild conditions actually. Now we go to the workability part actually. Workability, you can refer table 11, page 21. The different placing conditions is given. This is degree of workability. it depends on the type of work actually. So as an engineer, you should know what type of work you are doing at site actually, whether it is simply reinforced section with normal vibrations or heavily reinforced section with good vibration is required. So if this is a condition, then you can go with medium workability. So depends. Suppose cast in piles you are doing or structures with heavy reinforcement, then you have to go with high workable concrete actually. So you have, as engineers, we have to design. We have to see what type of workability you require. What is the placing condition? Depending on that degree of workability, you have to maintain. Now, once you come that one, you say that your maxi aggregate size for 20 mm, your slump requirement is 25 to 30. You can say 25 plus 30 divided by 2 is 37.5. For maxi aggregate size 40 mm, it is 50 to 100. So 50 plus 100 divided by 2 is 75. So for maxi aggregate size, in our case, is 30 mm. So it should vary from 37.5 to 75 actually. Now you can see here, as per from the table we got, maxi aggregate size 20 mm, slump is 25 to 50, average slump is 37.5. For MAS 40, the slump is 50 to 100, average slump is 75. So in our case, maxi aggregate size is 30 mm, so take the average. So that's 7.5 plus 35 divided by 2. So we are designing for 56 mm slump. I hope the slump procedure is very clear actually. We fill the slump in 3 layers actually, in 3 layers. The first layer we fill it up and hit the slump tamping rod up to the bottom actually. Up to the bottom it has to go and touch the plate. It has to give a blow 25 times. And then second layer we do, it should penetrate the first layer up to the middle of the first layer actually. The rod should penetrate up to the middle of the first layer. And third layer we put, it should penetrate the second layer up to the middle. So 25 blows we have to give all around the slump cone actually, right? Starting from the edges to the center actually. Now next, step 5 is target mean strength actually. We have to set a target actually. We are doing an M20 concrete. Your characteristic strength is M20. Now we have to set a target mean strength actually. Why we should set a target actually? What is the use? What is the reason? If you take that same M20 to the field conditions are different actually. Some may be using wear batcher, some may be using volume batching, some may use very minutely they will be checking entire quality, single source, everything. Then the target strength varies actually. I'll just see the degree of quality control. You can take table 12, page 23. Degree of quality control expected under different site conditions. It says very good, the fresh, very good condition. That is a site condition if it is very good. That is fresh cement from single source, regular test, weigh batching of all aggregates, the aggregate supplied in single sizes, control of aggregate grading, moisture content, control of water added, frequent supervision, regular workability. If all these things are mentioned, are being done, the site condition is comes under very good. Good, carefully stored cement, periodic test, weigh batching of all materials, controlled water, graded aggregates. These are things that have been done, then it comes under good. Fair, fair condition is proper storage of cement, volume batching of all aggregate, allowing for bulking of sand, weigh batching of cement, then water content controlled by inspection of mix and occasional supervision test. So today we'll be designing for fair condition because nothing is below that one. So the condition of quality control at site, we take it as fair. Now for fair condition, what is the standard deviation, which is very clearly given here? Now you can see a recommended value standard deviation, it is given. Now the subsequent revisions, what they have done is that they had given only one figures like M24.6. Depending on it's a good condition, they had given only one figure. Now, if depending on the condition of site, if it is fair, you have to increase it by 1. If it is very good, you can decrease it by 1, the standard deviation. That is given in the notes. Whereas in 1982, very clearly they had given what is the standard deviation M20 for fair condition if it is 5.6. This 5.6, if you are a regular worker, if you are a contractor of IHB or you are doing regularly concrete worker site, you can fix with the 30 results of concrete at site. You think that quality of control is good. So you can reduce the standard deviation below 5.6 also, depending on the 30 results what you are having. But ready reckoner at site for IS code, it is given as 5.6. You can take for M20 at 5.6. Now we have this target the value of T as 1.65. What is this value of T actually? Now you can see here, accepted proportion of low results. Why we take, what is this value? Why we take 1 T or T as 1.65? Now if you have one out of every cube only has to fail, that is you are taking 100 cubes at site and only one cube should fail, you take the value as what, 2.33. That becomes very ideal condition actually. Or 1 in 5, that 1 out of every 5 cubes fails, that is 20 cubes out of 100 cube fails, that is a very poor condition. So that value is taken as 0.84. So in our mixed design, we are incorporating a 5% failure. That is, we told earlier itself, FCK, 5% failure is, in the definition itself is told that 5% failure is acceptable. So 1.65 is the value, you take it. Now for target mean strength, we get 20 plus 1.65, that is into 5.6, we get 20 plus 9.24, it is 29 Newton per square. So that is a value you are getting for setting the target mean strength. Now, for doing M20 concrete at site, where your degree of quality control is only fair, you have to achieve 29 Newton per square in the lab conditions. So when we are doing a concrete in lab conditions, you have to achieve 29 Newton per square at the end of 28 days. Then only that mixed design can be taken to site for executing it actually to get M20 concrete. So durability requirement, we are fixed mild, water cement ratio 0.55, water cement minimum cement content we are fixed as 285 kg per cubic meter. Workability we are fixed at medium. Then slump we are going to design it for 56 mm. Then degree of quality control for for the site which we are doing, it is fair. For that we got a standard deviation as 5.6 Newton per square. And the value of T, we got 1.65. So target mean strength, we have fixed it at 29 Newton per square. Now target of, we got this one. Now go for the water cement ratio. We can refer, see, for getting the water cement, target mean strength is 29 Newton per square. Sorry, this is not kg. 29 Newton per square. Grade of cement is F. Water cement ratio is 0.55. Now you can see here in the y-axis we have this 28 days strength Newton per square, it is given, and in the x-axis we have water cement ratio, and the grade of cement we have got the figure as F actually. So from 29 you draw a horizontal wherever it is touching the F. In this case we have higher grade, so we have taken up to G because our strength was higher. You took it to the x-axis. That comes the water cement ratio. So you get the water cement ratio is 0.55 here in this case. Now you can see we are from the graph we got the water cement ratio is 0.55. As per the durability requirement in the step number 3, we have taken durability requirement as step 3 we got 0.55. Actually we have to take the lowest of the two. Since in this case both are same, we take the water cement ratio for our mixed design as 0.55. Now we come to the water content actually. We have to decide the water content. So water content estimated for mixed designing and mix are influenced by the following factors: maximum size of the aggregate, moisture content in the aggregates, workability, and type of aggregates actually. So and put the from the IS 10262 clause 4.2 and table 2 and devised this tabular column actually looking into it. It's all given in theory. I just put it in tabular column. This is slump is given 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75. Here maximum aggregate size is given 10, 20, 40. Actually 30 has been interpolated and taken. And water, all these things are water per kg per cubic meter is given actually. Now in our case, you can say the slump is 56 mm. We cannot get it directly. You take the average slump, 25 plus 50 divided by 2 is 37.5. For 37.5, your slump, your water content is for 30 maximum aggregate 30 mm is 175. And for 75, 50 to 75 divided by 2, average slump for maximum aggregate 30 mm it is what 180 mm actually. So you interpolate, first interpolation has to be done. You do the interpolation and get the for slump 56 mm actually. I'll just show that one. Now you can see here from the graph from table 15 we got for maximum aggregate, we have to find it for maximum aggregate 30 mm. Slump is 25 to 50, average slump comes to 37.5. For average slump 37.5, water content is 175 liters. Same thing for maximum aggregate 30 mm, slump 50 to 100, average slump is 62.5. For average slump 62.5, the water content is 180 liters. So required slump is what we require is 56 mm. So you can say that for average slump 37.5, your water content is 175. For average slump 62.5, your water content is 180. So 180 minus 175 is 5. Then 37.5 minus 62.5 is 25. You are going to find out Z dash. That is for required slump is 56 mm. So 56 minus 37.5 is 18.5 actually. So you can just do the interpolation Z dash divided by 18.5. 5 divided by 25, you can find out Z dash is 3.7. Add to 175, you get Z. So that comes to around 179 liters. So for maximum aggregate size 30 mm, for an average slump, what we require slump is 56 mm. You are getting the water content of 179 liters. Now this water content, there are certain notes which is given in the IS that water estimate can be reduced by 10 kg for subangular aggregates. See, this is for crushed aggregates. This is for crushed aggregates what we have taken. Now, if your aggregates, if you see that if it is subangular, you can reduce by 10 kg. Or crushed gravel, suppose if you are using your natural gravel or mixed with crushed particles, you can reduce it by 20 kgs. Or 25 kg, if you are using exclusively rounded aggregates, you can go reduce it by 25 kgs actually. You can reduce the water content by 25 kgs. Again, note 2, if you are using admixtures for your site, you can reduce the water by 10 kgs. 10%, you can reduce the water by 10%. Or if you are using super plasticizers, you can reduce the water content by 20%. You can proceed depending on what type of material you are using actually from here. Suppose if we are using plasticizers, you can reduce the water content. Now we got 179, you can reduce by 10%. Or if you are, when you are using superplastic, you can reduce it by 20%. Now from the water content, we got the water content, we got the water cement ratio, we can find out the cement content actually. So water by cement 0.55, you get the cement as 325 kg per cubic meter. Sorry. You get 325 kg per cubic meter. This 325 kg, you should check as per the durability requirement, our minimum cement, it should not go below 285 kg per cubic meter. So 325 is about 285. Hence it is okay as per durability check we are done. It is okay. We can proceed with the mixed design. This is as per the step 3 where we have fixed the cement content as from the durability requirement as 285 kg cubic meter. You cannot go below 285. So worksheet, you can see water cement ratio, we fixed it. We got the target strength, the F grade cement, then water cement ratio we got it, durability requirement we got, final water cement ratio we get it. So water content we got 179 liters and cement content we got it as 325 kg. Now we come to the aggregate proportion, which is we are slightly deviating from the IS method. Actually, I found it more workable with the when we refer to this aggregate proportions by DOE method, actually, Department of Environment. This depends on 4 factors: maximum aggregate size, workability, free water cement ratio, percentage of 600 micron sieve. Actually, now these are the 4 factors which where we can find out the percentage of fine aggregate. Now we'll just refer to a sample graph actually. These are the graphs which is given to you in the worksheet, the PPTs which I had sent to you. Now this is the maximum recommended proportion of fine aggregate percentage passing 600 micron sieve, maximum aggregate size 30 mm. For every maximum aggregate size 30 mm, there are 4 graphs. That is from slum 0 to 10, then slum 10 to 30, that is for average slum 20 mm. This is for average slum 5 mm. Then we have figure C from average 30 to 90. We have 30 to 60, sorry, that is for average slum 45. And then graph, we have 60 to 120, 180, 180 we have actually. So there are 4 different graphs given here actually. And in the y-axis, we have this proportion of fine aggregate. In the x-axis, the water cement ratio is given. And each line is representing 600 micron. This line is representing 15% 600 micron passing. 600 micron passing, we have got it from sieve analysis of fine aggregate, the 600 micron passing. It is 37.7 we are designing it for. So this is for 15% passing 600 micron. This is for 40% passing 600 micron. This is for 60% passing 600 micron. This is 80, this is 100 actually. So each line is representing the 600 micron passing actually. Now you can see, refer to the graphs given in these, that is maximum aggregate size. You can see here, figure A, 4, 5, 6 is all given different types of fine aggregate proportions, different fine aggregate proportion. We have this figure for maximum aggregate size 20 mm. This is the graph actually. You can see here. Maximum aggregate size 20 mm. This is for average slum 20 mm. This is for average slum 5 mm. This is for average slum 45 mm. This is for average slum 120 mm. This is figured same MS 20 mm only. Then we have MS maximum aggregate size 30 mm. Then figure 5B. So these are all graphs which is given very clearly indicating the maximum aggregate size with 4 graphs for each, depending on the workability. So now what we'll do is that I'll just few theory is there in between. Like case 1, I'll just listen to this one. This fixing of fine aggregate is very important actually. Now, if you are doing 2 trials we are doing, each graph is representing 1 trial actually, 1 trial of concrete. So we are doing 2 trials. What we have done is the 1 trial we are doing with maximum aggregate size 20 mm. 40 mm, another trial we are doing maximum aggregate size 20 mm. All other parameters we have kept same, like slum is same for both the concrete. This is average slum 45 mm. We had kept zone 2, 40% passing 600 micron for both the trials. We had kept actually. And we have kept water cement ratio 0.5 for both the trials. So we can see that for the trial 1, when we are using maximum aggregate size 40 mm, with 0.5 water cement ratio, you are getting a fine aggregate percentage as 35%, 36%. Whereas when the maximum aggregate size reduces to 20 mm, your fine aggregate increases to 41% actually. So as the size of maximum aggregate size decreases, we require more percentage of fine aggregate to make your concrete mix cohesive actually. Whereas whatever we see that when we add more fines, what happens? The water demand increases actually. That's what we say. But this graph clearly says as the MAS decreases from 40 to 20, we require more percentage of fine aggregate to make your mix cohesive. Second case, here what we have done, for both the trials, we kept maximum aggregate size 20 mm same. Only difference, and 600 micron passing for both the concrete, we have kept same here, 40%, 40% actually. Water cement ratio also we have kept same. Water cement ratio also we have kept same at 0.5. Only difference what we have done is first concrete we are making it for low workable, that is for average slum 20 mm. Whereas for the second concrete we are average slum is around 120 mm. So high slum we are designing for 120 mm average slum. Now here if you see For low slump, you require low percentage of fine aggregate. It is required only 38. Whereas for high slump, we require high percentage of fine aggregate. It comes to 46%, 47% actually. So as the slump workability increases, we require more percentage of fine aggregate to make your concrete mix cohesive actually. When we feel that to make your mix more workable, if we add more fines, what happens? We think that water demand will increase and you will not get a workable concrete. Whereas we are telling you in this particular graph says you require more percentage of fine aggregate to make your mix cohesive actually. Now third trial we are doing here, we have kept both the aggregates same. Slump also we have kept it same actually. Now the only difference what we are doing in the first trial, water cement ratio also is kept same for both the concrete actually. First trial we are doing with zone 2 sand, whereas the second trial we are doing with zone 1 sand actually. When we are doing the concrete with zone 2 sand, you require less number of fine aggregates. That is only around 41%. Whereas when we are doing a concrete mixed design with zone 1 sand, because there are less of fines in zone 1 sand, you require more percentage of fine aggregates to be added to make your mix cohesive actually. So you can say as sand becomes coarser from zone 2 to zone 1, we require more percentage of fine aggregate to make your mix cohesive actually. And the fourth this one is when other parameters we have kept same, M20, 20, max and grid size is 20 for both the concrete. Slump is same for both the concrete. And percentage passing 600 micron 40 is kept same for both the concrete. We had used the same water cement ratio. Only difference is water cement ratio, we had used 0.4 for the first concrete and 0.6 for the second concrete actually. Now, what is the difference? As the water cement ratio increases, we require more percentage of fine aggregate to make your concrete mix cohesive actually. So these are the 4 case studies through the graph we could find, which will, once you understand these concepts, you will be finding it very useful when you are implementing the concrete mix designs at site actually. Now, to get aggregate proportions, fine aggregate proportion, in our case, maximum aggregate size is 30 mm in our case. Slump, what we are designing is 56 mm. Pre-water cement ratio is 0.55 and 600 micron passing is 37.7 actually. So here we may have to do some interpolations actually, depending on the graph. Now we can take figure 5C, average slump is 45 mm, and figure 5D, where average slump is 120 mm. That is a graphs which I am referring to figure C and figure D. You have to take these 2 figures because the slump 45, we are designing for 56 mm slump. So first is that 56 is lying between 45 to 120. So both these graphs we have to refer actually. So first we will find out the percentage of fine aggregate for average slump 45 mm. What is the percentage of fine aggregate for 37.7% passing 600 micron? Second is again we will find out the percentage of fine aggregate for 120 mm average slump for percentage passing 600 micron, 37.7 actually. So you can just click here to view the graph. This is page 45, figure 5C and 5D. You are referring to figure 5C and 5D, where the average slump is 45 mm. We are trying to find out the percentage of fine aggregate. In the x-axis, we have the water cement ratio, 0.55, you can mark it. You take a figure up to the 40% passing 600 micron. Why we are doing this interpolation? Because we don't get the right direct figure 37.7 from the graph. So we do the first interpolation between 15 and 40 lies 37.7. So first take it up to 40, take it horizontal line to the x-axis, you get the percentage of fine aggregate. Same thing, extend the line up to 15%, take it to the right to the y-axis, you get 48. You can write here 40% passing 600 micron, what is the proportion? 40. For 15% passing 600 micron, what is the proportion? It is 48 actually. Same thing you do for average slump 120 mm. 0.55, you mark it in the x-axis, take a vertical line, whether it is hitting the 40% line, bring it to the y-axis, that figure 45, you can put it here. That is 40% passing 600 micron. And for 15% passing, you get 55 from the graph actually. So you got, you can check here for interpolation here. Now you can see here, this is for average slump 45 mm. You got the proportion 40 from the graph for 40% passing 600 micron. For 15% passing 600 micron, you got 48. Now what we require is percentage passing 600 micron is 37.7 in our case. So you have to find it for 37.7. So 48 minus 40 is 8. 15 minus 40 is 25, 37.7 minus 40 is 2.3. So find out x dash, then add to x, you get 40.74. This is the percentage of fine aggregate required for average slump 45 mm. And average slump 120 mm, same thing you proceed, find out. For average slump 120 mm, you get y as 45.92. Now we have got percentage of fine aggregates for average slump 45 mm. And also we got percentage for fine aggregate for average slump 120 mm. But what is the average slump we are designing for? We are designing for 56 mm actually. So you have to do one more interpolation actually. Here now you take the slump. Average slump 45 we got from this graph 40.74 proportion of fine aggregate. For average slump 120 mm, you got the proportion 45.92 from this graph actually. And we want to get it for average slump 56 mm. So 45.92 minus 40.74, you get 5.18. 120 minus 45, you get 75. 56 minus 45, you get 11 actually. So you do the interpolation, find out Z dash, you get Z is 40.74 plus 0.76, it comes to 41.5 actually. So you get the average slump as 41.5. 41.5 we got. This is for maximum aggregate size 30 mm. For slump 56 mm. The percentage fine aggregate what we got for 37.7% passing 600 micron. Now we got percent fine aggregate as 41.5. So you got the from the graphs, interpolation of graphs, you get fine aggregate average slump 56 mm as 41.5. Now, once you get fine aggregate percentage, total aggregates is 100. 100 minus percentage of fine aggregate, you get 100 minus 41.5 is 58.5. Now, we have two types of aggregates which we are using actually, max aggregate size CA1 and CA2. So, how to divide that one actually? That is showing in table 16, page 49. Maximum aggregate size is given 20 mm, 30 mm, 40 mm. We have 10 mm, 20 mm, 30, 40 given here actually. So in our case, max aggregate size is 30 mm. So you take 50% of 10 mm. It's just a thumb rule actually. And you can take this as 50%. Okay. So 50-50 we can divide. If your max aggregate size is 20 mm, you can take 10 mm as 33% and 20 mm as 67%. If it is 40, you can divide it. So now as per our mixed design, we will have 41.5 as fine aggregate, CA1 as 29.25, CA2 as 29.25. So this is what we have got now as the percentage proportions what we have got for as per for the mixed design what we have designed. So this is the aggregate proportions we got 41.5, CA1 29.25 and CA2 as 29.25. Now this as it is we may not be able to implement at site. Why? Because what happened when we did the sieve analysis, you must remember in the beginning, when we had taken sand and did the sieve analysis, we found that 99.3% only is passing 4.75. 0.7 is retained in 4.75. That 0.7% is going to act like coarse aggregate in your concrete actually. So if we add only 41.5, the percentage of fine aggregate will be less in your concrete mix design and you will not get the right workability or cohesiveness actually. So what you have to do, correction for oversized particles in fine aggregates we have to do. So when we are adding 100% sand, we are getting only 99.3% of fine aggregates as per CNL. Sand doesn't mean that everything is fine aggregate. Sand contains some coarse aggregate which is retained on 4.75. So when we are adding 100% sand, we are getting only 99.3 acting as fine aggregate. For 1% of fine aggregate, we have to add how much sand? 100 by 99.3. For our mixed design, 41.5% of fine aggregate, how much sand we have to add? 100 by 99.3 into 41.3. So 41.8% of sand if you add, you get 41.5% acting as fine aggregate. So what is the correction? 41.8 minus 41.5, that is plus 0.3 actually. Then the proportion of after the first correction will be fine aggregate will be 41.8% of CA1. We have to reduce because that will act like a CA1. So that 0.3 we have to reduce it from CA1. So it comes to 28.95 and 29.25. There is no correction in CA2. Here. Now you can see here, this is that we got as per the mixed design. The first correction we did it actually. So plus 0.3 minus 0.3, you are getting the after correction 41.8, 28.95, 29.25, so total 100. Now second correction is that we have to do, because when we did the sieve analysis for CA1, we could see that 26% is passing 4.75. So if we add 26% is passing, is going to act like fine aggregate in your concrete. So as it is, we cannot add this CA1 actually, because when we are adding CA1, we get 26% fines as per the sieve analysis report. So for 1% CA1, you get 26 by 100 fines. So for 28.85 CA1, how much fines will come? 7.53% of fines will be there. This has to be reduced from fine aggregates. So you write that corrected one on the top and reduce the fine aggregate 7.53, add 7.53 to CA1, and then you get the final proportion actually now. 34.27, 36.48, 29.25, total is 100 actually. So you get the final proportions, 34.27, 36.48, 29.25 actually. Now you can, when we did the sieve, we can put the sieve analysis, we can, this is an Excel file actually. You can put that sieve analysis of 20 mm here, 10 mm here, sand here, and then click it whether our proportions, these proportions what we had designed, whether it is fitting the well fit curve actually. If it is between this pink and yellow, then your proportioning is okay actually. Now you take the unit volume of aggregate as 1 liter. So fine aggregate will be 0.3427 liters. CA1 is 0.3648 liters. CA2 is 0.2925 liters actually. Now for volume of concrete, you can take 1 cubic meter. The mass of cement, specific gravity of cement by 1000, you get 0.103 cubic meter. Volume of water you can take, that is 179 divided by 1 into 1 by 1000, you get 0.17 cubic meter. These are all simple calculations which is already given there. Now here, volume of all in all aggregates we can take, that is 1 minus, here in this case, as per the IS 10262 latest 2019, we can, for maximum aggregate size 20 mm, we have to reduce the air content by 2%. So we can say 1 divided by 0.02 to 0.98 it will come actually. And then reduce it by this one. So that volume will be, has to be incorporated here. That air content has to be incorporated here actually. Then mass of fine aggregate, coarse aggregate we can find out 0.178, 718 into 6.3648 into 2.7 is the specific gravity into 1000, you get the weight per cubic meter. Same thing for CA2, you get the weight per cubic meter. Fine aggregate, you get the weight per cubic meter actually. So all design calculations actually. So you can take the materials for 1 cubic meter of concrete, cement as this one, water as liters, fine aggregate we get it, CA1 we get, CA2 we are getting it. For 1 bag of cement, we can calculate it, the weight of concrete, the weight of cement, the weight of different proportion of materials in weight, we can take it. This is again a simple checker actually, whether 1 cubic meter is batched, whether you're getting 1 cubic meter out actually. So this is a simple mix checker. Now, these are the simple lab equipments which we require. Any engineer or anybody working in site should have a basic small requirements. It doesn't cost much actually. Slump cone, sieve analysis, sieves for sieving the coarse aggregate and fine aggregate, cube molds, water measuring jar, weighing scale, measuring cylinders, and a small, even a hand-based It's not that much recommended, but even for a small site, we can go in with this hand-placed composite testing machine. So these are the simple equipments which I recommend should be there at every site where the engineers are working actually. Now the trial mix. See, anything we cannot directly go into the site and implement it actually. We have to do the trials at lab and see whether your mix design is working. So the lab trial number 1, trial mix, what you can do for 5 kg cement you can take, cement 5 kgs, water according to that you can take. And then all your material should be in saturated surface day conditions. All your material should be in saturated surface day conditions. And then you have to do the trials using that particular mix actually, and see if the slump, if you are getting a slump of 56 mm, it is true slump, it's very cohesive, then you can go ahead and fill the cubes. If the first test is okay, then you can go ahead and fill the cubes, check the strength at 7 days and 28 days. And if the strength is about 29 Newton per square, then okay, you can proceed and implement the concrete mix design at site actually. If the first parameter itself, suppose if your slump, you're not getting the slump, then don't go in for filling up the cubes and wasting the time actually. You can reject the trials, go in for a fresh trial. I'll say, give you the notes with what all corrections we have to do it actually. So we cannot do anything in this particular trial. You have to just simply reject it, go in for a fresh trial, doing some modification in your mix design, and then come back to do the trials again actually. But if everything is okay, then fill it up and then see for the 7 days and 28 days strength, and then go in for the implementing at site. If it is not okay, then go for the second, third trial, going through the notes. These are the notes actually. You can see if your first trial is okay with all your, we are getting a 56 mm slump, your true slump it is, and if it is coated with cement paste, then you can go ahead and implement this concrete mix design at site actually. At site, what is happening is that your aggregates will be in different condition. It may be a rainy day, so you have to find out what is the water, excess water lying on there in that aggregates. That water content you have to find out. It's an easy test actually. You take the weight of, take the sample, slightly heat it so that the top gets dried out actually. Wait again, and then you can find that water on the surface of the aggregates. That water can be reduced from the total water to be added actually. You can go for the bulkage of the sand. What is the bulkage percentage? Accordingly, you have to add the sand extra into it actually. And these are some of the trials which we are doing. Now, if your desired workability you are not got, instead of 56 mm, you have got only 5 mm or 10 mm slump, then you are not achieved. You have to reject that trials and go for the fresh trials actually. Remember, all your lab trials, you should have the aggregates in saturated surface day conditions. Now you can see here workability less than targeted. Water content can be increased, provided the criteria for maximum water cement ratio and minimum cement contents are not violated. Alternately, superclusters can be used if it is less than targeted. Workability more than targeted, I usually say that the supervisors should not be used in the beginning. You, as engineers, first you should learn to make the concrete without using any admixtures first. Admixtures come the second and a little advanced concrete when we are doing. So if it is less than targeted, you have to adjust, you have to increase the water content, provided maximum water cement ratio and minimum cement content are not violated, or less. If it is more than, suppose you are designing for 56 mm, you are getting 120 mm. So you don't require that much water actually, water content. So you can reduce the water content again, looking into this minimum cement content and water cement ratio. If it is less cohesive, fine aggregate proportion can be increased. Again, over cohesive, you can reduce the fine aggregate. Compressive strength less than targeted 5%. If it is less than 5%, then decrease the water cement ratio by over 10%. Again, you can increase the cement content by 5% for every 5% reduction in strength while decreasing the water cement ratio by 10%. So these are some of the trials. See, this is where actually the artists come into picture. This is basically, again, what I feel is that the more number of trials, the more number of you are getting involved, you're dirtying your hand, you're putting your hand. See, basically when I was as an engineer, when I joined at Gujarat Bridgeworks, I didn't have much experience actually. I never learned also concrete mix. But after 11 years, when we were in Ambuja Cements, we actually went in for different types of materials with different types of cements. We actually spend a lot of times designing the mix. We are dirtying our hands and different combinations we are doing. We're doing it ourselves, not we are asking our workers to do it. We ourselves has to get involved to understand the material properties actually. The more and more we start understanding, then you are slowly getting into an artist mode actually. After that experience, you are going to do it in a 1 or 2 or 3 trials or 4 trials. 3 trials is enough or 2 trials is enough. With the mixed design, what I am suggesting it, if you have that experience with 1 or 2, 3 trials, you can be able to freeze your proportions actually. Volumetric batching, we have cement we can take 50 kgs, water we got 27.5 liters when we convert into volumetric batching. So fine aggregates we can take 99.23 kg we got, divided by dry loose bulk density. You get it in liters, 69 liters. So bulkage adding 20%. So 69 into 1.2 we get 83 liters. Same thing for CA1, DLBD is 1.44, weight we got it 109 divided by 1.44 you get in liters, 35 liters. This is for the DLBD is basically converting from weight to volumetric basis. And for coarse aggregate we got 60 liters actually. Now this is the boxes where we have mixer machines with the skip bucket actually. We are using this 35 liters boxes actually. We can go for 20 liters, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 liters. This is the dimensions which is given. The L varies. If it is 35, it is 35 liters. If it is 25, it is 25 liters. If it is 20, it is 20 liters. So this basically requires 2 people to carry this box and batch it actually. Now, if we have these 12 boxes at site, there is 20 liters, 25 liters, 30 liters, 35 liters, 40 liters, whatever, you can implement any concrete mix design at site actually. Now, these are the dimensions which is given here. For if you see in our case, our fine aggregate is 83 liters. So what we did, selected 2 boxes of F. 2 boxes of F is 45 liters, it comes to 90 liters. So that is 90 minus 83 is plus 7 liters. CA1 is 75 liters. So we had selected 2 boxes of D, that is 35 liters, that comes to 70. So, but we have to add 75 liters. So 75 minus 70 is minus 5 liters. For 60, we have 2 boxes of C plus C is 30, 60 liters. So it is 0. So plus minus, the deviation should not be more than 2 liters, plus minus 2 liters. So here it is plus 2. So our selection of boxes are okay. Otherwise, you have to do the jugglery with the boxes actually to see that it is within plus minus 2 liters. Now, if we have all these things at site actually, the proper boxes, cement, 1 bag at a time, that is not cut it the entire bag and put it on plastic sheet. 1 cement bag at a time you put it, and we have the box 5 liter water can. And if you are done, the engineer has done a proper homework and before implementing the concrete mix design, the mixer operator is told, okay, 5 boxes after all the water corrections, 5 boxes has to be put, that is 25 liters. And all this batching is done properly. Then what happens is that you are going to get a designed workable concrete at site. If you are getting a workable concrete, no mixer operator or a mason at the working on the top will ask you to add more water in your concrete. So your water cement ratio is intact, the worker is getting the workable concrete, and the owner is getting a durable concrete. Now you can see here, even there is no skip bucket actually. There is no skip, only drum is there. It is difficult to take boxes up to that level and add into the drum actually. So what we have done, we designed this 15 liters, 10 liters boxes actually, round boxes. Earlier we had designed square boxes, which was the workers are finding it difficulty to directly unload the material. Now we had made it round actually. So that can be added, and the 5 liter bucket is being used here. So this can be implemented actually. Here they had also implemented this admixture for the concrete, which was being used. Plasticized it has been calibrated and used this one mug to be added after all the material has been added. This lady has put the aggregates into the drum and walking back actually. Now this is a small simple design for making that box for where the skip bucket, where the drum only is available. You can use these boxes actually for implementing the concrete mix designs. Smaller boxes of 10 liters, 15 liters you can use. So some of you have discovered how to solve your concrete problems. Actually, some of you haven't. Actually, I am not telling that with one go you'll be able to understand the entire concept. Actually, so this is basically again a theory class. Actually, you have to get involved more into the concrete. You have to, as engineers, we should not feel shy. You have to put your hand into the concrete to understand the material. The more and more you put, the more and more trials you do, you will be closer. You are getting closer to become an artist in you. As civil engineering, become an artist to get your problem solved. To get your this one, to get into the closer to the this one. So yeah, I request most of the time now. What is happening is the mixed designs or the concrete operations, the engineers are not involved actually. They are a mere spectators actually. And the entire industry is now into some workers' hand actually, or the contractors which doesn't know, which has not gone through any education background. They are deciding, they are doing the concretes at site. Even you don't have a control where your own slab, your own house slab, if you are being doing, and if you wanted to implement it, you don't have any control, because ultimately you will lose the control and they will have their say in the concrete making of your own house actually. So try to get involved more into the concrete to understand the material and regain the control of the concrete making from those people to us actually, to the engineers. That is my wish actually. Thank you very much. Now you are the engineer sitting in the center. You have good materials available with you. A lot of tools are available with you. It is for you to implement. You have to good practices. You have to implement and show. And you have to be strict in this matter actually, so that the controls are regained back to the engineers. Actually. Choice is yours. So thank you to.